Did you know that Mozart's father, Leopold Mozart, was a renowned violin teacher, and he wrote one of the first violin method books that was published in 1756? In his book, he raises various problems that are still relevant today, even in modern violin pedagogy. One of them is the beginner violinist problems, when they're tempted to play carefully, quietly, with the small bow strokes all the time. For this, Leopold Mozart gives an excellent advice in his book. He writes to beginners, "You should always practice loud. You should learn how to play a strong, full sound from the very beginning. It might feel difficult at first, but with time you'll gain control over it and you'll learn how to make your sound pleasant." Here is why it's so important today, because your right hand is responsible for giving a life to everything what your left hand does on the violin. And you may master your left hand techniques, you can learn shifts, vibrato, and so on, but if your right arm doesn't produce all that into the proper sound and you're not taught how to do it from the very beginning, then none of it, unfortunately, will go through to the listener.